host, Anthony Uva, and I hope this show gives you an understanding and an insight on how and what to do with your son or daughter to get them to go to college and to get a good college that fits them both academically as well as athletically. My guest today is Adan Olmeda, and he's a parent of a student that plays golf and has also at what high school?
He's at Hamilton High West.
Hamilton High West. So, Adan, tell me a little bit about yourself. And, did you go to high school and play a sport, or did you go to college as well?
Well, I did play in high school, and I played in college as well. I actually played tennis.
Oh.
And I got into golf back in 2007 through a friend, and it was someone I was dating for a while, and then she and I broke up, but I kept the game and taught Nathan. And at the time, Nathan really had no interest in playing golf.
Wow.
He was all about playing baseball and trying to play in high school and college and so on, but I made him pick up a club and try it one day, and he was hooked.
That's great. And so did you go on to college and play a sport at the college level? Or?
I did. I went to Mercer County College, and I played tennis there. From there, I transferred to a school in New York, and I studied acting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't play tennis there.
Ah, okay. And so what ended up happening with Nathan? How did he get started in golf?
Well, I introduced him to the game, and he took to it like a fish to water, really. And like many players who don't have an interest like myself, I didn't really have that much of an interest in playing until I actually tried it. And once I tried it, I was hooked.
Right.
Same thing happened with Nathan. He tried it out. Wasn't really excited about it, but he said he'll try it. I put a club in his hand, showed him the basics, grip, stance, everything with that. Put a ball down and let him swing, and he hit a few. He squared up on a few, and he was hooked. Now he went from being hooked to being really good at it. It turned out that he actually had a talent for the game just right off the bat. So
when he went to high school, did he get started right on the varsity team as a freshman?
As a freshman, he was the number one. He came in as the number one.
Wow.
So he's been 3-time MVP on the team, and he'll probably be the senior year MVP. In 2012, he was named second team All County. Last year, 2013, he received an honorable mention All County.
Wow.
And hopefully, 2013 was this past season was a bit of a step back. He had a little bit too much on his plate between school and other extracurricular activities. He just had a little bit too much on his plate, and I think his game suffered a bit. But this year, we're expecting a big rebound,
right,
and hopefully take the next step and kind of catapult that, use that success and catapult into college.
Great. Now his academics, how are his grades?
We got lucky. We got lucky because he's a top student. Scored 2000s on his SAT. He's got a 4.0 GPA.
Wow.
So he's taking AP classes now. He's got 2 AP classes this year. We didn't want to overwhelm him with too many college level courses. So because he is a senior and he's getting a little senioritis, but meaning that he's ready to be done with school.
Right.
But he does have 2 AP classes that he's doing well in.
Right.
And his other classes are honor levels. So
now, so tell me, how did you get your son recruited at the college level?
Getting recruited is kind of where you came in.
Okay.
Kevin, a mutual friend of ours, Kevin Ryan, who I met at the gym over in Pennington. We just happened to be working out at the same gym. Just happened to talk one day, and he mentioned that he was involved in college planning, and this was 2 years ago, I think, that I met Kevin and we started talking about college planning. And he had mentioned athletic resource and you specifically he'd mentioned that to me. And I asked him a few more questions about it, and I thought it would be the right move for Nathan.
Now, have you ever heard of any college recruiting services before that?
Only generally, because I keep up with sports, a lot of sports myself, and I've heard of recruiting services for other sports, football, basketball, and such. But I never didn't really pay much attention to it until Kevin brought it to my attention, and we sat down and talked and went in depth about it.
Okay. And what did you think of Athletic Resource when they came to your house? What was your first impression?
I was very impressed. Everything was laid out very straightforward, very very impressive. I was very impressed with the presentation. Nathan was equally impressed. He was very excited about getting on with Athletic Resource.
So what can you tell our audience out there that think that a lot of these college recruiting services are just out there just for your money, that kind of thing? Well,
I mean, there are probably some out there that are out for the money, but I don't think you guys aren't that. I know that. It's you kind of have to feel it out. I mean, it's tough because there are a lot of services out there. Now that I know about the services, I see them pop up, and then I do a little research on it myself just to see what they offer as opposed to what you offer, and just some of them just seem very I'm really glad we're with Athletic Resource. I was not excited about even hearing about some of these other ones.
So where does the process? What was the process that Athletic Resource took, or any college recruiting service? What's the process that you go through? And what happens?
You mean first hooking on with you, or just in general?
Well, both.
Okay. Well, you came to our house, sat down with myself, Nathan's mother, and stepfather, and we sat down with Nathan, went through what you guys do and how you guys do it.
Right.
And showed us examples from other students or other athletes that you have available. And explain to us, you actually helped explain to us how the process goes.
Okay.
And, when to start it, how much we should be investing in it, how much time, energy, money. Just you guys were very thorough in laying everything out for us.
Right.
And also what to expect.
So what was the expectation, and what started to happen after, we leave?
Well, I didn't have the expectation of that schools were just going to start breaking down the door, but I was expecting kind of what happened. Once we signed on with Athletic Resource, we got our page together, we got Nathan's profile together, all of the things that he needed to have, the video, the pictures, everything else, his resume, which was really important. We got all that laid out, and then you guys started sending out. Once you guys started sending out the page, we got responses as early as sophomore year.
Wow.
So he was sophomore year we had a few responses.
Right.
But senior year or junior year and senior year, they've just been nonstop. It's every day there's something in the mail or a call or an email saying check out this school, check us out, But I think
and when did the phone calls start to happen?
The phone calls started happening, I would say, in the summer, this past summer, the summer after junior year, is when the phone calls started coming in.
Okay. And do you take any visits? Do coaches talk to you about coming to their school?
We have gone to several schools. We visited a lot of campuses. We have talked to several coaches, but the recruiting process for golf is very different than I think for other sports.
Okay.
I think because golf is because it's such a not niche sport, but golfing programs in general don't have the kind of money that basketball, football, those type of programs have.
Right.
Golf programs don't generate a lot of money, so we have to be more proactive in reaching out to the coaches. Now, if Nathan, say, was a basketball player or a football player and maintained the grades that he has
right.
and the talent level that he has, we probably would have been getting calls from a lot of coaches, a lot of other a lot more schools.
So what are some of the types of schools that you've been hearing from?
We've been hearing from a lot of Division I schools, Rider, Rutgers, Ohio State, and all three of those we've applied to.
Okay.
I say we, but Team Nathan.
Sure.
But, who else? Lehigh University. We've had a lot of back and forth with the coach at Centenary College up in Hackettstown.
Sure.
We've been trying to set something up with him, trying to have a sit down, but we've just been trading emails and phone calls. And
do you get a lot of small schools by doing something like this as well?
with golf, we actually got a lot of Division III schools' attention, and that was very good. That was good. I mean, most of the Division III schools there's some in the area, but most of them were a little bit out of state, and some of them are a little bit further away than we were comfortable with.
Right.
One school that had they still have a serious interest in Nathan was Methodist University in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And which is a tremendous golf school. They're a Division III school, but they have a tremendous golf program and golf team.
Okay.
And that one is still kind of, in play. We're hoping to maybe possibly visit there.
Now, is there any extra things that you do to improve Nathan's athletic ability? Is there private coaches that you've used over the years? What are some of the things that parents have to do to get an average to an above average athlete?
Well, first off, the child has to want to play the sport. No, trust me, you can't force it. You can't force it on the kid no matter how hard you try.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work, because your kid has to want to play the sport and has to want to put the extra time in. Because if they're just playing the sport when the matches or the games are going on, and they practice only when the team practices or when there's a required practice, unless the kid is an extreme talent, they're not going to see any improvement, and they're not going to get the attention of college coaches.
So would you say that the college recruiting service, like Athletic Resource, were they ones to help you open the doors more to other schools that were out there?
Oh, I would say so. They've definitely been instrumental in that, because we've heard from schools that we've never even heard of that would be, that are a viable option for him to go to school.
Now, is there anything else that Nathan does that schools have picked up on?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky that Nathan's such a talented kid. He, aside from the golf and, fortunately the good grades, he's actually a very talented musician. Oh. And he performs in the marching band. He's actually captain of the high brass section. He plays trumpet, and he's now, he's done 4 years of marching band. He's done 2 years now of jazz band.
Wow.
And the only reason he didn't do 4 years of jazz band is because we wanted him to focus on golf, as opposed to playing, golf and jazz and doing everything. He also does the school musicals. He's in the this year he's in select choir, meaning he also has that on his plate.
So would you say that parents could get things at the college level for fine arts or band or theater?
Absolutely.
Is that also out there for them?
Absolutely. We've been fortunate enough to we've gotten not only calls from schools about his golf, his golf skills. They also are interested in him possibly coming to play in the marching band. 2 schools in particular, Rutgers and the Ohio State. They've been very proactive in trying to recruit Nathan to try to come there just to play in the band.
Wow.
Just to play in the marching band.
That's fantastic.
We were actually at Rutgers a few weeks ago for state championships, the band championships. Hamilton didn't have a great showing, but we watched also all the other high school bands perform, and they were really great. But we also saw the Rutgers band perform.
Wow.
And that was really impressive. That made an impression on Nathan. And, Rutgers was on the radar, but it wasn't as,
Sure.
It wasn't as...
Now, Let's talk about the process of scholarships or merit money. What's the process that the colleges take with parents on those aspects?
So far from what we've seen is that merit money seems to be, from what I've seen, if your student has this grade point average and this, the students have to achieve certain numbers. If they have this type of grade point average, if they have this type, if they have these numbers for SAT scores, which are huge, or if they have this number for ACT scores, it's almost kind of like, if you have this, you'll get this. But if you have, if you get this, you get this. But if you have this, then you'll get this. So obviously, the better grades, the better scoring, the more money available.
So the range could be anything from the lowest amount that you've heard to a full scholarship of some
Absolutely,
sort?
absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's really eye-opening. It's really eye-opening. Part of me wishes that we would have started even sooner.
Really?
With athletic resource and doing the entire process.
And how much sooner can you actually start a process like this? Could you start freshman year?
I think so. I think that would be a great idea to start in freshman year. In fact, if we would have known, maybe we would have started in freshman year. We started in sophomore year, and we did. I think we've done well. Mm-hmm. If we could have started in freshman year, knowing what we know now, I absolutely would start in freshman year, because particularly with the sport, mm-hmm. Again, I've mentioned before, if he played basketball or football, maybe it would be a little bit different. But because he played golf, we had to be more proactive in reaching out to coaches. We didn't realize that until, not late in the game, but maybe a little bit later than I would have preferred.
And would you say to parents that that you know of, is this something that they should be able to do as well, if their son or daughter were in other sports, non-revenue sports like your son that plays
absolutely.
golf?
Absolutely.
Is there things for tennis or lacrosse or field hockey? Is there any of those sports as well?
Most schools have those programs. Most schools have those teams available for the kids to play on. I would say if your kid played lacrosse, soccer, even baseball, the sooner you start, and I wish I would have listened to other people when they said the sooner you start, the better, because it's true. The sooner you start, it is the better, because if your son or daughter plays on a team that is not a revenue-generating sport, football, mm-hmm. basketball, something like that, even baseball doesn't reach those levels.
Right.
You have to be more proactive, reaching out to the coaches and getting your son or daughter's name out there, and letting the coaches know that, Billy is playing baseball, freshman year.
Is there a reason for that? Is there a reason why coaches at the college level wouldn't be able to find, like, let's say your son, Nathan, why couldn't they find them in golf? Is there a reason why they wouldn't be able to find them?
I think because coaches at the college level have some schools are limited in their resources. So the coaches don't have that much,
So would you say that someone in, let's say, Massachusetts or Florida, if they're a coach there, would they know where Hamilton, New Jersey is?
They might know, but they might not know about my son.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that with the athletic resource, it's been great getting Nathan's name out to schools, like something in Massachusetts, or something as far west as Iowa.
Have you seen any parents that have asked you over time that how is your son getting so many schools that recognize him?
We've had some parents ask about it, but not a whole lot. It seems like everyone's kind of just like wrapped up in their own kind of
their own little world.
Yeah, everyone's asking, all right, how do we do this? How do we do this? They don't ask as many questions as
Is it something that parents should ask other parents?
I think they should. I think they absolutely should. I've been proactive in telling my friends that have younger kids, saying, don't wait, do not wait, regardless of whether they play a sport or not, because most kids, even if they play a sport and even if they play it well, they're not going to reach professional level. So that means that they're going to have to rely on their.
So what you're saying is you can't play your sport after college professionally. Is that what you're saying?
Not every kid's going to make it.
Okay.
Not every kid's going to make it. I mean, it's just the truth. No matter how good you think your kid is, there could be somebody out there better. There probably is somebody out there better.
So is it really, it comes down to just getting a good education? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for Nathan getting the good grades that he's getting and achieving the scores that he has achieved, the pool of prospective colleges for Nathan would probably be much smaller.
Really?
It would probably be much smaller because he's a very talented golfer, and he's going to get better. Right. He's going to get better, but this goes for most kids, most parents out there. Don't rely on that athletic scholarship. Don't do it.
Right.
Because unless your kid, I mean, you know when your kid is special.
Right.
You know when your kid is a standout. And Nathan is a standout in many ways. And hopefully this year he makes that next step. But there are kids out there that are just,
Does he have a dream of being a Tiger Woods one day?
Yeah, no. No. He enjoys playing. He wants to play in college, and he wants to see how far he can go with it.
Right.
But I don't know if he has that tremendous drive to be Tiger Woods.
Gotcha.
Or whoever. But he does want to play. He does want to play, and he wants to take it as far as he can. And that's where I kind of step in, and I kind of give him that little extra encouragement, that little extra push, without trying to be too overbearing.
So have you done things like any type of camps for Nathan?
Yes, we do. I mean, he meets with a coach regularly, usually once every couple of weeks to work on his swing, refine it, tweak it. We go to the gym on a regular basis, work out, just try and keep in shape, trying to, stay lean, because it's important you have to do the off-season stuff.
Sure.
You have to do the off-season stuff.
So what you're saying to everyone that's watching or listening is really what it comes down to is helping your son with other things like camps and private lessons to get a better student athlete to go on to college.
Every little bit helps. Every little bit will help. Getting the right coaching, getting the right, sometimes a lot of not college coaches, a lot of high school coaches are very, very good. They know what they're doing, but they know how to coach the team. They know how to coach practice. They may not be available to give your kid the extra time that they need.
Gotcha.
So maybe you look for an outside coach or an outside trainer. Get that extra edge.
So what schools do you think Nathan is veering himself towards? Is there any schools out there that he's got a good grasp of what he's looking at?
In terms of majors?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely interested in the ones that we've applied to now. Rider, Rutgers, Lehigh, Ohio State, Centenary, Boston College, Boston University,
and what's
Columbia.
the application process like?
Well, fortunately, most of the schools that he's interested in are listed on Common App. And what Common App is basically a template for where most schools go to. I mean, most universities and colleges are listed in Common App.
Right.
And it's basically just a template where you can plug in all your information and go to whichever school you're interested in, whether it's whichever school, TCNJ.
Okay.
And if they're listed in there and they accept the Common App, then all of your information is listed on there, and you could just kind of submit through Common App to TCNJ, just as an example.
Okay.
And if TCNJ has any extra questions or any extra requirements that are needed or that they ask for, they're usually listed in Common App. And if you have to, write another essay or submit different scores or something, it's usually on there.
Okay.
And you can submit it that way. Common App is a vital resource.
And what's the price range of these applications?
Price range of applications that I've seen are anywhere between $45 and $75.
Okay. And do some schools, can they waive the application fee?
Yes, yes. Some schools can waive. Some schools do waive the application fee if they're very
Really?
interested in the student. Fortunately, Nathan's, the schools that he's applied to, the application fee has been waived, so that's nice.
So what would be the process then once an application is sent in? Because don't the applications have to be sent in somewhere around December, January?
I'm not sure if it's. I always get this confused. There's early action and early decision.
Okay.
One is binding, one is not.
Okay.
I always get those two confused. But early action, I think, is when you could submit your application to schools before, I believe some schools have different deadlines, but I think some of the schools that we've seen are November 15th. That was a deadline for a few schools.
Okay.
Some other schools, I think, might be December 1st. Some other schools, I'm not positive.
Okay.
Some have different deadlines. But again, there are two processes. One is early decision, one is early action. One is binding, meaning that if you apply to this school and you're accepted to this school, you have to attend this school.
Gotcha.
Whereas, again, I'm not sure which one it is. Where the other one, I think it's early action, that is non-binding, which means that you can apply to the school. They can accept you, but you can also apply, but you're not committed to that school. You're not bound to that school.
Gotcha.
You're allowed to apply to other schools and, see what other schools.
Now, do sports take any precedent in that process?
As far as Nathan goes, yes and no. There are some schools that are interested in him that he doesn't feel the same mutual interest, that he's not as interested in.
Okay.
And there are some schools that he's very much interested in, but the college coach hasn't really, hasn't been very receptive to him. So it's,
All right.
hit
Well,
or miss there.
thank you very much for coming, and thank you everyone for listening to The Secrets of College Planning, and I look forward to seeing you again. My name is Anthony Uva, and thank you.